My favorite part of most of these villains is they're so well written, you end up hating them throughout the series. What up, though, everybody, and welcome back to my channel, Spemorak Speaks. Make sure you smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. It does more than you know. It really helps out. And now let's get right into it. This episode, I'm going to be talking about my top 5 favorite villains in anime. My top 5 favorite villains in anime. And this list might piss some people off. It might piss some people off. I'm not going to lie, because there are some names on here that some people might not like at all. But we'll get right into it. And I want to talk about the parameters. It's not, well, villains that I'd side with. It's not, this guy, look at how cool he is. No, it's my top 5 villains for how they're written, what they made me feel, and different things like that. So let's just get right into it. Number 5, I have Kimli from Full Metal Alchemist. You look at this guy, he is just pure evil, committing war crimes, destroying civilizations. We saw a little backstory in what he did in the war in Ishval, and he was just a total piece of shit. And when he gets back, he's not working with the homunculus, but he's working with the homunculus because he's obsessed to trying to get the Philosopher's Stone, like, 90% of people in this show are. But Kimli in Full Metal Alchemist, man, he is the pure evil of this show. The homunculus, they don't know any better. They're programmed to do this. They respond to literally create havoc, kill people, and go forward. Father, he is this all-knowing being. Most villains in anime, they have this, I'm going to rewrite the world so they see it how I see it kind of attitude. And that's what Father is as well. But Kimli he was just a human. He was just a state alchemist who was a total piece of shit. Just war crimes, like I said, in Ishval, and a ton of different things. On top of that, just a lack of remorse for what he's doing. He really makes you hate him. And that is something that I think is really important when you're looking at a good villain, is how, if this villain makes you hate them, then they're doing something right. And they're a very well-written villain. And that's going to be a common theme on my list, honestly, when you see who I've got in store. So at number 5, I've got Kimli from Full Metal Alchemist. At number 4, this is a newer one, I got Mahito. Mahito is my top 4. Mahito is in my top 5 of favorite anime villains. And it's the same thing as I said about Kimli. He makes you hate him so much. That's how you know it's a well-written guy. If you see him on the screen, you're like, this motherfucker, man, I swear to God. You know he's doing something right. You know he is a well-written villain. Of every time you see him, you hate his guts. And the way he just behaves, the way he acts like this little carefree kid in the world, but is just obliterating people and wreaking havoc throughout the whole series. It's like, dude, this guy is a piece of shit. And that's the mark of a good villain. Like I said, that is one of the things on this list that if you hate them, then they did something right. And Mahito is a very well-written villain. And like I said, he makes you hate him. So he's definitely in my top 5. Next, at number 3, he could be higher, but I'm just going to go with him at number 3, and that is Aizen in Bleach. He has this grand master plan of what he's going to do. He knows what he wants to do. First thing he has to do to accomplish his plan is get rid of Kisuke, because Kisuke is too damn smart. He's going to figure it out. He's going to ruin it. So he frames Kisuke, gets him kicked out of the Soul Society. And then he has the entire Soul Society convinced, he's a captain. He's a cool guy. He's Aizen. No, he is that dude. He is crazy. He is insane. And Yhwach, who could have been on this list, but Yhwach lists him as a top 5 biggest banger in the entire series. He literally gives his top 5 list, and Aizen is on there because of his Reiatsu. And I just think how he takes over the entire information sector without even the rest of them knowing it. He has all of the captains under his Bankai. None of them know it. He runs that whole arc from the beginning, before any of it's even introduced, until Ichigo finishes him before the 1,000-Year Blood War. Like, Aizen is an insane plot point in the story, and there's so much scheming and crazy shit going on throughout the series, and most of it's because of his original schemes. Like, the dude is, like, literally, like, anime glasses guy to the ultimate extent. So Aizen's number 3 on this list for me. Number 2 of my top 5 favorite villains in anime is Frieza. Frieza has to be on this list. Like, I know some people don't love Dragon Ball Z or Dragon Ball as a whole, but Frieza is one of the best written characters, one of the best written villains. He does so much as a part of the story. He's killed multiple people. We saw him kill Krillin. We saw him kill multiple people throughout the story to just literally piss off Goku and Vegeta and nothing else because he hates Saiyans that much. He blew up an entire planet because Beerus ordered him to or gave him the okay to, but Frieza has to be on this list. Like, you can't think of anime villains without thinking of Frieza, just because Dragon Ball Z is so iconic, but also because of what Frieza means to the story as a villain. You see him kind of working with Goku there in the Tournament of Power and Super, which, take it or leave it if you liked it, if you didn't, but Frieza has to be on this list just because what he means to anime, what he means to not only Dragon Ball Z, but Dragon Ball as a whole. And he is, again, just pure evil. He doesn't have this ulterior motive. He doesn't have a reason to be doing this other than he hates all Saiyans. He calls them monkeys half of the time. Like, it's kind of a little sketchy. Like, all right, relax, Frieza. But he's got to be on this list. He's just a great villain going forward. And number one on this list for me, some people might call it biased, but if you watch or read, you know where I'm coming from, and it's Doflamingo. Doflamingo is my favorite villain in all of anime. How he's written, how much of a savage he is, how he went from the elitist of the elite in the Celestial Dragons to being kicked down to nothing. He was cast aside by both the richest of the rich and the poorest of the poor because he was somewhere in between them, and he got that title of Heavenly Demon. He is such a fucking savage, and that is the same thing. Like, a lot of these, I would say, other than Frieza, on this list are, you hate them. They make you hate them because of what they do. And going forward, Doflamingo is such a well-written character, such a well-written villain. He is my favorite villain of my favorite anime. He is number 1 on my list. Like, this guy is pure evil, laughing in the face, doing whatever he needs to do to get on top, doing whatever he needs to do to make sure the people who treated him so poorly growing up and did that to his family, make sure they feel everything he felt. Doflamingo is an amazing character going forward, and if you haven't watched One Piece, you need to. Honestly, Doflamingo is my favorite villain in all of anime. So that is my top 5 favorite villains in anime. At 5, I got Kimli from Full Metal Alchemist. At 4, I got Mahito from Jujutsu Kaisen. At 3, I got Aizen from Bleach. At 2, I have Frieza from Dragon Ball. And in number 1, Doflamingo from One Piece. Again, my favorite part of most of these villains is they're so well written, you end up hating them throughout the series. When they come on the screen and you're just like, motherfucker, I swear to God. That's how you know they're doing their job right. So that is my top 5. Appreciate you all for listening. Make sure you smash that like button and subscribe. I'll see you guys later.